Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode for Adventures in the Forgotten Realms, the D&D set for Magic the Gathering. We are here from Collector Legion. This is Eli. I'm Hunter, and we're here to give you the top 8 cards for Modern, Standard, or whatever, I don't know, for Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. These are in no order particularly other than the white-blue Wooburg order that you want to put them in. But first, we'll get to the honorable mentions that we have for the set. And we're going to start off with all the Manlands. So what do you think about these Manlands? And how they fit into Standard, Modern, Pioneer, whatever?
These designs are kind of interesting because they're all kind of clunky to activate, but they come in untapped in the early turns. So, like, that says... Coming in untapped on turns 1 and 2 says these go in aggro decks, and then costing 6 and 5 and 4 to activate says this is more of a control finisher. So it's kind of an interesting push and pull. Some of them are definitely better than others. I think the one that has the most potential in Modern is probably the blue one, just because it's tough to kill. And obviously, what is it? It's like a 7/7 or a 6/6 or something. It's really big. So
7/7 Lord. Yeah, it's a Frost Titan.
Yeah, it's really big. So even though it's expensive to activate, you don't have to do it too many times to kill your opponent. Other than that, I like that the red one generates card advantage when it attacks. You get a Goblin when it gets in there, although it's not the biggest creature, but it's a manland, so if you don't have profitable attacks, you just don't get in there. So I think I like the red one in Standard, and like the blue one might be some niche playable in older formats.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be like, since our mana is going to be a lot worse in Standard, these might actually be a bit of something that you want to pick up for all your decks, especially if you're playing monocolor decks or whatnot. Maybe not your two-color decks, but we'll have to see. Next up for the honorable mentions, we've got a Goblin Lord.
Love a good Goblin Lord.
We do love a good Goblin Lord. Let me get the actual name here, and it's the Hobgoblin Bandit Lord. Other goblins you control get +1/+1, and then a nice activated ability. Would this one be for Standard, or is this just going in your Modern or your Pioneer Goblin deck, or even Historic, even though that format doesn't exist?
Yeah. Historic Goblins is the thing. This activated ability is pretty good with Krenko, which is for some reason extremely playable in Historic and no other format, but that's enough about that. As far as Modern goes, like, you definitely will be able to deal a ton of damage with that activated ability. I know they already play like Sling Gang Lieutenant, which would already deal 3, and you can like play a Goblin and then use Ether Vial, play a Goblin that makes tokens, and then bang them for a bunch of damage. So I like it there. In Standard, I don't think there's going to be enough support. Usually these Tribal Lords just kind of like hang out there. There's one for Knights, there's one for Goblins, there's one for this, there's one for that, and they don't really overlap in Standard. So Modern maybe because of Sling Gang Lieutenant mostly. Historic definitely because of Krenko, and Standard probably not.
Yeah, that makes sense. Normally we're not getting too many tribal payoffs in Standard unless they really, really, really want us to play Elves or something stupid like that. Next up for the honorable mentions, we got to put this one on here for our friend Peter Quach. This is Olaf Fiddlebender, the 2-mana 2/2 birthing pod for artifacts. This seems like something that could get a little tricky in Modern.
Yeah, this is definitely one that benefits from the deeper card pool, because you just get to go like sack your Chromatic Star to go get something, or you get an artifact that untaps it. There's a Quarter Monitor for 2, that'll untap it, let you keep going up, and then I know there's 1,000-Year Elixir for all you EDH players out there. You might, if you're playing white and you want to put this guy in your deck, I imagine that could do something.
Yeah.
But this card has so many possibilities for what it does. Unfortunately, it's kind of dinky. It's just it's a 2 toughness 2-mana creature in Modern. Not the most resilient to try and build your deck around, but like if you ever untap with this thing, like you deserve to win the game. Like birthing pod for artifacts, like just saying that phrase together is like should be ringing alarm bells.
They ban birthing pod. They make Court of Calling suck, and then they give us War of Invention and this.
This one, at least this one dies.
Next up, we have something very near and dear to my heart. We couldn't put it onto the top 8 because, of course, it was actually too large of a creature to put on the top 8.
Yeah, for sure.
This is the best card in the set. This is my card. This is my invitational card for the set. This is the Frog Hemoth. Eli's not talking about this one because it's going to cover him up. This is what's going to happen when Questing Beast goes bye-bye. This guy is coming out to play. That's what's happening. Mono Green Aggro's back, standard 2022. Get Throne of Eldraine out of here. Everybody's coming back to play because no one wants to play with Adventures anymore. No one wants to play against all the 92 ban cards that they had from the set.
You can actually play of like a 4/4 that like, and like that doesn't like generate value, and then like it doesn't just get blocked by Bone Crusher Giant.
Exactly. It's gonna be beautiful.
It's really good. It's really exciting to think about.
And it has what are this?
I mean, if you hit them, it gets bigger, right?
It gets bigger, yeah.
Yeah, that's actually really snowbally. Like,
it's
like
it's huge. It's green. We didn't have one in Modern Horizons 2 because they hate me, but now we got him. He's huge and he's green.
All the green creatures did stuff instead of just being big. But
we've got the Frog Hemoth.
Now what you really want.
If you ever want to know what I look like at the gym, it's the Frog Hemoth. There you go. Now we'll actually get to the top 8 here. We had our fun, and we're going to start off here with a white card. We're going to go to Portable Hole, which is a very flavorful card from D&D. They kind of struck the balance here perfectly with this one with playability and flavor. Portable Hole, take it away.
Okay, so on its face, it's just white Fatal Push, and it's a sorcery instead of an instant. But I think the thing that will make this card a pretty big player in Modern is the fact that it's an artifact, and having an artifact be a cheap removal spell just lets you do a lot of different things. You actually can't get it with Urza Saga, which I found out. Urza Saga can only get cards that cost 1 colorless mana, or 1 generic mana, because this technically costs 1 white, so you can't get it with Urza Saga. But you can always but you can play it with in other artifact synergy decks. I think Urza is probably the most interested in this, because you're not really affinity style decks are more interested in pressuring the opponent. They won't be interested in a reactive card like this. But for more of an Urza style deck, I've already seen it have success in the hands of Dominic Harvey, and like blue white with 4 Portable Hole as your kind of cheap removal spell. Later it turns on your War of Inventions, taps your mana for Urza. You can fetch it with War of Invention in a pinch. So this is a cheap artifact that we've seen like Glass Casket from Throne of Eldraine. I know, sorry, we're not Throne of Eldraine, but yeah, it being 1 mana, I think will make it good enough for Modern.
Seems pretty good. Artifacts, cheap, Modern. Play it with Luris. I don't know. Next up, we're going out of alphabetical order here because Eli and I are really smart. We've got Ingenious Smith, the 2 mana human, but it doesn't go in humans. Yeah, it goes elsewhere. Where is this guy or girl, this gal, this lady, this whoever? Where's Ingenious Smith going?
So this one goes directly into Hammer Time. We've been seeing that a lot in the success of, I think his name is Hamuda. I apologize if I'm butchering your moto handle. But yeah, this one is good because it's a little bit of card advantage, and Hammer, I think, really struggles with kind of interactive decks the most because they can kind of break up your synergies. So it helps you grind out in the fair matchups, and it also does kind of become a threat just as the game goes on. Even though it doesn't get it only gets 1 counter a turn. You can't just like sandbag all your Mem Knights and then go like turn 2, play this, look at the top 4, get a hammer, and then go Mem Knight, and then you have a 4/4. No, you have to kind of like it'll grow bigger over the course of the game. But even then, like a Gluttonous Crane, but being a 3/3 later, that's just a pretty good deal. Like Elder's Visionary, but like with a little bit of beef as the game goes on. This is good.
Yeah, it's just solid. It's probably going to help that deck be more consistent than it already is. Next up, we've got the blue cards, or a blue card, and that is one that scares the living crap out of me, and it's not just because the art is a little bit scary. That's the Demilich, and it has 4 blue mana symbols, which scares me. It costs less for each instant or sorcery you've played, which scares me. You can copy spells from your graveyard, which scares me. And then finally, you can cast it from your graveyard. What the hell is this card?
Okay, so when I first saw this card spoiled, I immediately tweeted hashtag it's the WotC Don't Break Manamorphose Challenge. And they failed. Again. This card kind of reminds me of Arclight Phoenix, but it's a little bit of a you have to work a little bit harder, but you get paid off more, kind of. No, so you wait till turn 3, and then you go like Manamorphose, Bolt you, play a cantrip, and play another cantrip, and then you cast a bunch of these from your hand for free. So you've already kind of done it. Now they don't have haste. It's not the most it's not as aggressive, but it's got an attack trigger that generates value, and you can get it back from your graveyard by playing this kind of like Delvish kind of cost. So like, there's already a lot going on with this card, and all of them seem pretty powerful. Like mana reduction, recursive. We've just seen a world where Dreadhorde Darkness was banned in Legacy, and like an attack trigger that like gets the stuff back from your graveyard. Like we're already like working with a lot of juice here. You also don't have to like go off. You can just go like, okay, on turn 3, I'll go Manamorphose. I'll make 2 blue. I'll play an island, and I'll cast this. Like it's not even like that crazy.
Yeah. So, like, the bottom of the barrel is you have to pay 4 blue for this, which is no one's going to do. And then the top of the barrel is it's free, and you're casting 3 of them. Have fun. Like,
I would pick up Anger of the Gods now if you're in like a kind of red mid-rangey or control-y deck, because that's a really good answer to this card.
who wants to make a Demilich Vengevine deck?
Maybe what will happen is that Murktide Regent will just keep this in check by being like
Gigantic?
by gigantic. Like, okay, but like I don't know, they still can attack once. At least it dies to bolt, but like it only still slows it down.
Feels real bad bolting this card.
Yeah. Depends on how hard they went.
This is like their flagship. This is going to be the modern card here.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the very first card that was spoiled for the set that introduced everybody to the D&D flavor, which is Tashas Hideous Laughter. Why, oh why, do they keep pushing these damn mill cards? All the people on MTG Arena, all the people in the Facebook groups, all the casual players, they hate mill, and this is just more of the same hatred that's going to be flowing on those Facebook groups. Why?
So, last set we got mill for like 14 or something for triple blue. So you don't need those anymore.
Nope.
Sure, that one cycled, but
I'm gonna play both. I don't know.
This one,
sanity grinding.
This one, like, there are certain decks that you just one hit KO with this card. We were talking about Hammer Time a little bit ago. So, the way Lurrus works is you're not allowed to play with expensive spells, and the way this one works is that if you don't play with expensive spells, you die. So this card's going to be really effective in certain matchups, and like even if you play against like Amulet, like the way modern decks work, like even the decks that do have expensive cards, like they have like 4 Primeval Titan and
a bunch of zeros,
like a bunch of land. Like the decks that play expensive cards also play more lands.
Yes.
So this like play like 4 Titan and then like 4 Dryad, and then the rest of the deck is like lands, free spells and 1-drops. So like you can just like high roll it and like not hit a Titan for like 20 cards.
Then they're dead.
Yeah, then they die. Like even also the decks with expensive cards, sometimes they need like a critical massive stuff. So for example, like let's see here, like Ad Nauseam, like that deck plays like 5-drops, right? So you think like, okay, you'll hit an Ad Nauseam and then like you'll all be safe, right? But then you like mill too much of their win conditions.
You mill too many of their lands or something,
just,
and
like,
they can't
you
lightning
just
storm
spike,
you.
You just spike like the 4 Angels Graces. They die.
Yeah.
You versus Titan decks, you spike like too many mountains. They die. Like this card is insane. The thing about mill though is that they do struggle in aggressive matchups because like the aggressive decks are fast enough to race and they're redundant enough where like they don't randomly get like I mill you for 10. Oh, I see Valakut, surgical hit, you die.
Yeah.
But like the Murktide Regents of the world, like the Hammer Times, sort of, I think will be able to keep mill in check still. But like mill's good matchups are just like absurd now.
Yeah. This also exiles instead of milling. So if you're playing against aggressive decks and you do happen to hit a bunch of cards still, Cryptolith, right? Whatever the card that exiles all the creature cards from graveyards and you gain that much life.
Yeah.
That card's not going to work with this card. So there's your shining grace of light for the aggro players out there like me.
You people were playing like a one of Eldrazi or like a Guy's Blessing or something, and this gets around that. So like,
bye, not anymore.
Really juiced card.
Those the stupid Eldrazi decks aren't going to get those mill players anymore. But that card's awesome. It got more awesome the more we talked about it. This card has an awesome name, but it's just a generic removal spell. This is Power Word Kill. It's like Victim of Night, except it's easier to cast, and it kills different things. So this is just your generic, I can't play Go for the Throat, because whatever, I'm going to play this.
Well, you can't play Go for the Throat because they printed Urza Saga.
Oh, shit.
But, like, yeah, so Doomblade kind of runs into, like, Death Shadow's not as popular as it used to be, but, like, Doomblade is kind of feels bad, man. There's a fair number of black creatures out in Modern. There's, like, Yawgmoth, there's Dalby Voidwalker, Death Shadow, Scourge of the Skyclaves.
Turok.
Yeah, Turok has been seen play, Lurrus. Okay, so you can't play Doomblade. Go for the Throat. Definitely can't play Go for the Throat. There's Urza Saga just puts the kibosh on that. You got, like, Memnite, you got real affinity cards running around. Oh, I can't play Go for the Throat. Power Word Kill, I think you're gonna not run into too many, what is it, angels, demons, and dragons?
Angel, demon, devil, dragon. So
you can't kill them.
If you play against a very casual player in Modern, you are screwed. You are boned if you're trying to play this card. But not a lot of people are playing angels. Dragons, there's no Thunder Mohawkites running around. Demons, Grizzlebrand doesn't see play.
Fury even the elemental pitch card, like, replaced all the dragons from the Ponza deck. So,
yeah.
like, this one actually is now the best Doomblade in Modern, which is weird.
Yeah,
because it's kind of, like, under the radar. And Go for the Throat kind of held that spot for a really long time.
Yeah.
But I think if you're playing a black controlling deck without white or reds, like if you're playing base black-green, you might want to pick up some of these.
Or like blue-black or something. Maybe
yeah,
there's like a blue-black control deck. Who knows? But
that is more
generic black removal spell for your creature decks. Next up, we've got a red card, and we've got a card that I'm incredibly surprised, once again, that they have never, ever made, and that they've never just had a card called this. This is Wish. This card, I'm going to assume nothing good is happening with this, and that it's only for Storm decks. So
yeah.
Let's go.
So the trick that you know that nothing good will come of this card is that, like, it doesn't go to your hand. Like, it just says you can cast the card from your sideboard this turn. It's kind of weird. Like, other effects like this, like Fave Wishes or Burning Wish, you, like, put the card in your hand. But here, like, the templating is really weird. Like, you could go, like, cast Wish and then, like, cast spell that kills you, and then they try to counter it and be like, okay, now I'm gonna grab Pact Negation from my sideboard. Like, it's really weird templating. But yeah, so you have to, like, it doesn't go to your hand. You have to cast it this turn. Means that you basically have to be comboing or doing the Pact Negation thing. But over a couple weekends ago, I was watching Matt Nass play a Mono Red Storm deck in Legacy. There was a lot of talk about this card. They were, like, burning wishing for all sorts of things. Like, they had, like, their storm wind conditions, like counter magic to help push through your combo, chain lightning in order to kill a hate bear. This thing, you have to pay an extra mana over Burning Wish, but you can get any kind of card type, so you can pick up a little bit more variety. I'm not sure if the extra mana is worth it, but in decks like this, you can generally go off. You can generally go off pretty hard. So I'm unsure what to feel about this card.
Not for me. I have nothing to say.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be messed up. Get your Storm players, get your foil copies, get your foreign copies, whatever the hell, right now.
Yeah, there's definitely more of a market for that.
Next up, I lied. I said we're not doing any big dumb green creatures. You know, there's actually a second section of my heart that has overcosted small green creatures right there next to it. It's like big dumb green creature, little tiny green creature that's kind of big because it more describes me than the first part. So we've got the Werewolf Pack Leader. It's double green. It is a human, which Eli did notify me a couple days ago, which I was very surprised about because I was looking at the cards and I was like, oh, it's just a werewolf, whatever. Oh, it's actually a human. I'm going to guess it doesn't go any humans, but this card seems very, very good for what it's costed and for what it does.
I do want to try it because 3 toughness is sort of relevant because of Unholy Heat, which we definitely covered during our Modern Horizons 2 set review. So yeah, Unholy
Deja
Heat,
Vu, we covered that card.
Unholy Heat makes it so that because in the early turns it doesn't deal. It only deals 2. So having a 3rd toughness is kind of nice. Getting grinding a little bit. If you ever like curve like this into Mana Strider, get to draw a card. That's kind of the dream. But not being a disruptive human, a little tricky.
Maybe there's like some lesser
nice.
3-color, 4-color version where we're not playing black or something. This just seems harder to cast.
Yeah, double green is kind of what's I think actually a bigger deal than you might realize at first. You might think like, oh, well, you have all ancient ziggurats and
you were playing
Cavernous
Horizon
Lands.
Canopy.
Yeah.
Your Sackland, and then you have maybe another ones. You could swap that out for like a green-blue one or something. I don't know, but
16 sources is a little tough.
yeah.
So
Noble Hierarchy,
Yeah.
but
yeah.
might need to mess around with it a little bit to get this one into your deck. But it's really good. The activated ability might actually be the hardest part to activate. So
stupid ancient ziggurat.
it also makes it not a human, so you can't play it in your deck. So
Yeah, that's how.
yeah, that's how that works. Sorry, tribal players. This one's good, but it's sort of generically good. Maybe there's a mono green aggro deck or like
Yeah, that deck's always fringe.
yeah. There's enough green pips out there now where you could do something stupid with it with Aspect of Hydra. I think
You could update your Strangleroot, guys.
now that's an idea for Pioneer. Aspect of Hydra's coming back, baby.
Splash for Stubborn now.
Splash for Stubborn and L, of course. Next up, and finally, we have Treasure Vault, the best colorless land that they've printed in a while. Oh wait, no, it's not. That's Urza Saga, but this one is still pretty good. Where do we see Treasure Vault, and why is it still in Urza Saga decks?
Yeah, so this one is definitely friends with the old Urza Saga. For as long as I've been playing Modern, like almost 10 years now, it's been you get to play Darksteel Citadel, and that's it. Now you can play 8 untapped artifact lands, which is a pretty reasonable improvement to those kind of aggressive affinity decks. Just being able to more consistently have your nut draw, getting your affinity cards down into a cheap mana cost. The activated ability is fine. The big thing about that is that now that there's a bunch of you have all these freaking constructs running around that count all your artifacts, so that you can it's just another it's another way to pump those up.
It's an Aspect of Hydra on a land for your stupid constructs.
You have to pay a lot of mana.
Pay a lot, but
to
still.
get that thing going. So I don't see that being super relevant. You might pay 4 mana in the late game just to pump up your team, but I mean it's better than Darksteel Citadel. That does nothing. It's just indestructible.
Yeah. You can play both. If you're playing some maybe more mid-rangey deck, you might be able to fit in some of those enters battlefield tapped artifact lands. But this one is definitely at least going to be even just a 1 of in the stupid whatever artifact deck you're playing. Might be a 4 of in affinity. But that's it for our top 8. Overall, this set is super flavorful. It's super EDH'd out. Feels very much like what Commander Legends or whatever the hell that set was called should have been. I don't know where it's going to go for Standard. I don't know where it's going to go for Modern. These are the top 8 cards that we think are probably going to get there. Stay tuned for some Standard shorts from Eli about some of the cards we might have missed here that you're asking, where the hell is Ranger Class? Where's that stupid white book? Where's some of the other cards? We're going to get to them. But this was just for Modern. So that's it from Eli and I to you for now. And we'll see you again for the next set review whenever the hell that comes out. Probably in 2 minutes. So see you later, guys.